What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and tonight I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their week 3 of the 2022 preseason against the Detroit Lions. It is the final game of the preseason, getting ready for final roster cuts. This was the kind of practice before the main game. This was Pittsburgh's first year with 3 preseason games. 2 years ago was the COVID year. Last year, Pittsburgh played the Hall of Fame game. So this is Pittsburgh's first time with 3 preseason games. This usually is the dress rehearsal before week 4. But week 3 now is week 4. So long story short, this was our final chance in the preseason. Pittsburgh does win the game here against Detroit 19-9. Scores in the preseason are immaterial. Records are immaterial. But Pittsburgh does finish 3-0 in the preseason and looks pretty good doing it. Not a bad accounting for ourselves. Over 3 weeks, there are a few positions and a few players who are high up on the depth chart who are concerning me quite a bit, and I'll get into those. But I also wanted to use this video to give one final push to certain players who are like 3rd and 4th stringers who are battling out for roster spots. So I want to highlight some players and some position battles in the final roster spots that could be coming due. So as I'm recording this, we are here at Sunday night, right after the game. The final roster cuts down to 53 are due on Tuesday, August 30th. So we've got about 2 to 3 days here to decide the final roster, and this game could have gone a long way toward deciding it. Mitch Trubisky starts the game, plays the entire first half, and pretty much cements the fact that he is the number 1 quarterback. He plays the first half with all the ones and leads us on our only touchdown drive of the entire game. Again, Mitch and Kenny both played very good ball overall. Kenny came in the second half, had 2 drives. I think his first drive was a quick 3 and out due to penalties. Both of his 2 main drives were field goal range drives. One was a missed field goal by Boswell. The other was a made field goal by Boswell. Both quarterbacks play very well and cement themselves as the 1 and 2 quarterbacks respectively. Trubisky goes 15 of 19, 160 yards and a touchdown, no picks. Looks really good in doing so. Kenny Pickett goes 10 of 14 for 90 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. So both quarterbacks play well. And again, Mitch is the veteran. He's won already in the NFL. He's got some good wheels to get away from offensive line pressure, but based on how our team has played so far. Offensively, Kenny Pickett is the young upstart playing very good, solid, conservative ball, making a few nice slant throws, a few middle of the field throws. Also gets away from pressure, actually has some better wheels than Pickett. I think he's the better runner of the two. But Trubisky is kind of able to take the top off the defense a little bit more. Although both guys are playing similarly, I think right now you want to go with the veteran and the guy who's won in the NFL right now over Pickett. But Kenny playing so well this preseason, completing so many passes, playing very well, and being a hometown guy is going to pressure with these hometown fans to get Pickett in the game. So if Mitch comes in and struggles, Kenny's going to be right there nipping at his heels. If Kenny comes in and struggles and gets replaced by Mitch, then his confidence might be hurt, and it might feel like we're going backwards. So I think Pickett is the number 1 quarterback here, leading us on our touchdown drive. Trubisky, is the number 1, and Kenny is the number 2. In my opinion, Mason Rudolph came in with the second half in the fourth quarter, played with the 2nd/3rd stringers, was 0 for 3. Didn't get much of a chance to do much, but didn't complete any balls. Offense overall played pretty efficiently. We saw a couple of nice plays. Trubisky downfield with a really nice 30-plus yard play to Deontay Johnson downfield on a good catch, who left the game with an injury. I think it was just he was taken out for precaution. I think he's okay. We saw Miles Boykin play pretty well at wide receiver. I'll get there. But down the field, Freiermuth looked really good. Had a nice play from Kenny Pickett, I believe, to Fry. I think it was Trubisky, actually, at the end of the first half. Freiermuth made a nice play. Pickens made a few nice plays downfield as well. He's looking in midseason form as a rookie. He's looking like a potential Rookie of the Year offensive candidate for the Steelers. Let's get to the running backs real quick. We didn't see much out of them, and once again, it comes down to the offensive line. The line was pathetic in this game, and that's the number 1 talking point for the offense, which I'll get to in a second. But we didn't see much out of the running backs. Najee Harris started and played most of the first half. He got his carries in for the first time this season. Didn't show us much. 1 or 2 nice little 3 or 4 yard runs, but didn't get to show us too much out there. Was hard to bring down, got a few catches, but didn't do much overall. Otherwise, we didn't really see much of anybody. I think Najee with 11 or 12 yards was our leading rusher, and I think Gunnar Olszewski on a really nice inside, kind of an inside handoff play one of those jet sweeps we usually use. Olszewski ran for, I think, 12 yards on a nice play there, but he was our number 2 runner. I think for the second week in a row, actually, a wide receiver was our number 2 runner. So not a good sign for the backups. The 3 guys that are on the bubble, 3 guys fighting for 2 spots for the backup running back spots. We're looking at Jaylen Warren, we're looking at Benny Snell, we're looking at Anthony McFarland. Of those 3 guys, only 2 are going to make the roster. I don't see 4 running backs total making the roster. Najee is the one. So out of Snell, McFarland, and Warren, who's going to be the 2 and 3? All 3 of those guys played intermittently from the late second through fourth quarters. They kept bringing different guys in, trying to show different stuff. I think Jaylen Warren has the biggest upside as far as his burst and kind of the fact that the NFL has no tape on him yet. I like seeing what he can do. He's kind of an unproven commodity that I kind of like. McFarland had a good kickoff return. He's a special teams guy. That plays in his favor. Benny Snell's the one that's been here the longest. He did have 1 or 2 4-yard runs. He's been here the longest, but I see the least upside in him. So every one of them has got their pluses and minuses. I'm looking at McFarland making the. I'm looking at Warren making the team. I'm not sure about the other 2 who makes the team as the 3rd stringer. Wide receivers, like I said, I already called out Deontay and Pickens looking really good. Gunnar Olszewski has been a really solid-handed wide receiver. Got another nice run today. Got a couple of short catches. I like what he's done out there. He's been a big surprise. Another couple of guys that have been nice surprises. Miles Boykin. He's been pretty effective in every game this season. He's done nothing flashy, but he's caught basic balls. Simple out routes, simple slants. He's been the guy. Been really kind of trustworthy-handed, I'll say. 3 catches, 41 yards in this game today. Tyler Vaughn's my kind of sleeper in this preseason. I've liked him a lot. He's shifty. He did it again today. 2 catches for 24 yards. Also drew a pass interference downfield. He's shown that he can run and get some guys in contact downfield. He's shown that he can make guys miss. He made a few guys miss on tackles again today. He just seems like he's got good hands. He's got good athleticism, and he's very quick in the open field. I like Vaughn's. I don't know what's going to happen with the last few spots on this roster. Obviously, our first 3 guys are locked up. And then we have, I think Boykin is a guarantee to make the team. And I think Olszewski is a guarantee to make the team. So now you got 1 spot left. And you got guys like Vaughn's, Steven Sims, who had the touchdown tonight. He had the touchdown from Trubisky. 4 catches, 23 yards, and a touchdown. He's looked good on special teams and doing some jet sweeps in the preseason. So it looks like Steven Sims, Tyler Vaughn's, and Calvin Austin, who was our 4th-round draft pick, who looks electric in camp, who I'm a big fan of, has not played at all in preseason. Now is he on the bubble because he hasn't played? Because guys like Sims and Vaughn's have played so well. Is there a battle now for that last spot? Because you have kind of 5 guys who are guaranteed. So what happens in that 6th spot? Pretty interesting. But I like Tyler Vaughn's a lot, and I think Sims is going to be valuable somewhere else. So that's something to look out for. Offensive line, the final thing on offense I want to talk about, that's our biggest talking point today. This offensive line stinks on ice. You could not put this offensive line on ice and hide the smell any worse. Oh my God. They've been playing most of the games in the preseason. Tomlin has left these guys in the 3rd and 4th quarters of games because they're playing so badly, and they're getting worse with age. They are aging like spoiled frickin' milk. This offensive line is absolute trash. It is Sunday night and trash day is tomorrow morning. Take them all out back and throw them in the carriage. They stink. Dan Moore Jr., I tweeted it, I'm going to say it again. Dan Moore Jr. is a guy who was a rookie last year who had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but I saw for a rookie, I saw potential, especially at the end of the year. He looked like he was getting better. He has been getting worse and worse and worse. He has played bad enough in this preseason to be cut. To go from a starter last year and this year into being cut. He had 2 holding penalties back-to-back on this team, killing one of our drives, and also had another play that got our quarterback sacked in the first quarter. He has played so poorly. Chuks Okorafor also with a holding penalty or a false start, one or the other. I'm confusing holding and false starts. But pre-snap penalties and holding penalties on this offensive line killed at least 2 drives, one with Pickett and one with Trubisky. This offense has the talent. When you look at guys like Claypool and Pickens and Deontay and Najee and Freiermuth and which either quarterback we put out there with the wheels and the youth, this team looks like they can be really, really good. But this offensive line is going to take this offense from being a top 10 offense and being a playoff team to being a 18 to 20 offense, bottom half of the league, because this line is going to have these quarterbacks running for their lives. And dare I say, if Ben was playing this year in the current state that his body's in, we'd be a 3-14 team. Thank God we got running quarterbacks out there now, but my God, this offensive line stinks. Chooks and Dan Moore have been so bad. Mason Coole's been average at best. James Daniels didn't play badly today. He was probably the best of the 5, but he's had a very disappointing entire preseason. I have not liked him at all either. We got to make a move here. I don't know if you have to cut someone to make a statement. I don't know if you got to go on someone else's practice squad, if you got to make a trade here. Trade Mason Rudolph for somebody's offensive lineman. Trade Mason to Detroit. I guess they want him to go there. Trade Mason to Detroit and get an offensive lineman. Get anybody. I mean, my God. We need to make a statement here. Tomlin says that he makes moves. Let's make a move on the offensive line, because this offensive line could very well be the worst in the league. And since covering the Steelers formally from websites and YouTube since 2010 overall, I've not seen a single player have a single starter, I should say, have a worse preseason in total than I've seen Dan Moore have this preseason. I am very concerned about this team solely due to the offensive line. Let's get into defense and somebody else that I'm concerned about. Devin Bush. I don't like the way Devin Bush is playing. He did make the one very nice play today. On 4th down, he shot a gap and got a nice tackle on a 4th down, causing a turnover on downs. Excellent job, Devin Bush, on that one play. The rest of it, I don't like where this is going. Thank God for Myles Jack, because he's been consistently very solid. I like Myles Jack, but I'm not, in totality, a fan of the rest of these inside linebackers. I don't like their coverage. I don't like their over pursuit. I don't like their gap assignments. I don't like seeing a lot of the missed tackles that I'm seeing. Devin Bush several times read the wrong gap tonight. He missed several tackles, and he did not play well in coverage. In the first series, he got torched by a tight end in coverage. He got beat on a second play in coverage in this game, and he got blocked or missed assignments on his gaps at least 2 or 3 different times until he made that one really good play. Does one really good play make up for 3 bad games? I don't think so. I'm concerned, and at this point right now, as much as I see upside in Devin Bush, and I love Bush in his rookie season, I think you got to make another statement here. I'm not saying cut Devin Bush. His upside is too high. What I am saying is bench Devin Bush for Robert Spillane, and I'm not even confident in that, because although I don't like Robert Spillane's coverage, and I've talked on this channel at length about how Robert Spillane is our worst coverage linebacker, I'm willing to amend that now, because all of our inside linebackers are so bad in coverage that I'm starting to think Spillane is the second best coverage linebacker besides Myles Jack. Spillane has improved in his coverage. He's still not great. He's still not even good, but he's improved in coverage, and the other ones have stayed the same or gotten worse. I'm ready to start Spillane next to Myles Jack, and you guys know how I felt about Spillane in the last couple of years, so you know that is a low point for me. Aside from that on defense, I like the way the rest of this team is playing. Let's take a look at a couple stats here. We got several sacks today. First of all, my first written point here is stars equals stars, meaning the starting defense played for most of the first half, and all the guys you expect to make a splash play made a splash play. TJ Watt got a couple nice tackles in the backfield and got a batted ball as well. TJ Watt's on another level. Glad he played so well as he always does. Cam Hayward, 2 batted balls and a couple tackles on running backs. Obviously, Cam being Cam, he's a grown-ass man, as some other podcasts like to say. Minkah Fitzpatrick played very well. He was all over the field. He was blitzing, came near a couple of sacks tonight. Did get one, almost got a couple others. Almost got a pick as well, playing in the middle of the field. He's in midseason form, and he looks better than he did last year. Minkah looks great. Cam Sutton got a pick. The ball was thrown by the backup quarterback right to him, but he had a nice play where the quarterback didn't see him, and he jumped in front of a crossing, or I guess it was a deep slant route. Jumped in front of it, got a nice return, so good to see Cam Sutton out there. I look forward to seeing all 3 corners playing in their natural spots. I want Ahkello Witherspoon and Levi Wallace on the outside being physical, and Cam Sutton playing the inside. That is going to be where our top 3 guys shine. The other guys behind them we'll have to take a look at, but I like those guys there. Other things here, like I said, Minkah got a sack. Carlos Davis was up and down today. He missed a couple tackles on some running backs, and he also got a penalty for roughing the passer. But he did also get a sack and a nice tackle on a running back. So first time his name has been really mentioned heavily all preseason. He's fighting for the backup defensive tackle spot with his brother, Khalil Davis, and also Montravis Adams, who I have not seen all preseason. I don't know if he's playing or if he's injured or if he's just not being seen out there. But he's fighting for his life backup defensive tackle spot and not doing too much. But Carlos Davis, pretty solid game tonight with a couple of nice plays. Overall, I have a couple of notes on defense. I have Robinson over Johnson, meaning Mark Robinson over Buddy Johnson so far. I don't like either of these guys in coverage. Mark Robinson did get beat on one today, but Buddy Johnson is not very good in coverage. He did make one play in the end zone where he got there to a guy and knocked the ball away, but he got there early. He put his hands on the guy's shoulders and inside to his chest early, so it was a pass deflection on the goal line, which showed up as a nice play. It was actually pass interference, and it wasn't called. On another play next series, he did get called for pass interference, and he is a nice hitter. He's a good hitter, but guys catch the ball on him before he gets the hit. Decent in the run game, not great in the pass game for Buddy Johnson. Same with Mark Robinson, although I do think Mark Robinson is improving, and I think he's shown us more upside so far in 3 games than Buddy has shown us in a season and a preseason. Taking Buddy Johnson's last year and this year into account against Robinson's this year, I think Mark Robinson looks a little stronger as the potential 4th inside linebacker. As we're looking at inside linebacker battles, we're looking at, we know who the main 3 guys are, but Robinson, Johnson, and Marcus Allen are competing for the 4th and possible final inside linebacker spot. And right now it looks like Mark Robinson, with his hitting ability and his tackling on the running backs, is slightly over Marcus Allen and Buddy Johnson, in my opinion, right now. I also have Carlins Platel over Justin Lane and James Pierre. I have not liked what I've seen of James Pierre. He did make a play on a high ball that Blau overthrew, but that was because of the overthrow. He got beat on that play. There was another play that was it was either a stop and go or a comeback play where the quarterback just threw it short, but Pierre got beat. So Pierre did not show up on the stat sheet negatively tonight, but he got beat on several plays that were not thrown well by the quarterback. If that's Jared Goff or any other starting quarterback in the league, they're likely going to hit those throws, and you're not going to catch those breaks very much. James Pierre, while he's not been egregious, I don't like what I've seen on him in the preseason. I think he's really fallen off the last 2 years. And when he's been in there in the main games, he has not looked the same way he looked in camp that 1 year when he was a phenom for a brief period of time. I think he's lost kind of his spot. Justin Lane is pretty good on special teams. I think he made another play tonight. He's a consistent special teams tackler. I like him there. I don't like much of him on outside playing on the field. Carlins Platel, while he did get beat for 1 or 2, made several plays in the end zone and deep downfield. He was locating the ball and making some tackles tonight. And I think between the second, he didn't play much in the first game, but in the second game he played solid, and tonight he played way more good than bad. I think one or 2 negative plays, but I would say 4 or 5 really positive plays. Carlins Platel has shown me more in preseason this year than I've seen over the last 2 years from Justin Lane and James Pierre. Now, Justin Lane might make the roster in his final season here because of his veteranness and because of his special teams tackles, but I think Platel has a bigger upside than those 2 guys. Also tonight, DeMonte KZ, he went out with an injury again. It's his second time getting dinged up in the preseason. He's going to make the roster. I think it's safety. He's a veteran. He's made really good plays when he's out there. I like him a lot, and I want to see him play third safety. I want to see Norwood and KZ playing out there in sub-packages along with our 2 starting safeties a lot this year. I see big upside in KZ and Norwood together along with Edmonds and Fitzpatrick. Elijah Riley, who came in this week. They cut Donovan Steiner, who was hurt, and they signed Elijah Riley. He made some good plays tonight. They called him Steiner by accident, but he made 2 plays in the end zone where he skied up and located the ball and kept the ball out of the end zone. So very good plays for Elijah Riley. Again, it was his first game on short notice playing against backups, so I'm not going to read too much into Riley. But I have KZ and Riley over Killebrew. Miles Killebrew, a very good special teams player who's likely has a good chance to make the roster, but there's a lot of safeties now fighting for one bone. There's 3 or 4 safeties fighting for that last spot now. Obviously, the 2 starters are here, and I think obviously Norwood is going to be one, and I think KZ is going to be one. So if there's a 5th safety that makes it, it's going to either be Killebrew or Elijah Riley, and based on the preseason so far, we've not seen Killebrew, and Riley had a good game, so that's one to look at. So again, Pittsburgh gets the win 19-9, goes 3-0 in the preseason, looks pretty good overall, but again, my 2 biggest things are depth for our defensive line. Our front 7 needs really good depth that we don't have right now. Delonte Scott, again, did play decent tonight. He got a tackle and a sack. But I'm not really sure beyond Tuska who we have to back up the outside linebackers. Inside linebackers are good at running tackling, but not coverage, so that kind of alarms me a little bit. And offensively, I think we look good overall in all the skilled spots, but who makes the final running back and wide receiver spots? And what do we do for the offensive line? Who gets replaced? Does anyone get cut? What happens with the offensive line? That's my biggest thing there. So final rosters come out Tuesday, so maybe like tomorrow, maybe even early on Tuesday, I'll bring you guys who I think should be on the final 53, and then I'll bring you guys a rundown of the final roster, one or the other. I'll either do both videos or I'll do one, but I'll bring you guys the final 53 roster and my take on it this week. So go Steelers. What do you think? Who stood out in the comments below, and what do you think are our biggest points we have to improve on, and who impressed you in this game? Subscribe, and I will see you guys really soon this week. Go Steelers.